The famous five. Five run away together. A new adventure awaits the five as they run off away from Kiran Cottage in the next few episodes. Hence, they grab the opportunity to take part in another exciting journey that includes bravery, hate, kidnapping, and most importantly, lots of fun. So stick with me for some more time and you'll be solving, understanding, and laughing your socks off. Guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Advaith's Pod. In today's episode, we are going to start with the third book in the series, The Famous Five. Five run away together. Ooh, doesn't that sound like a mysterious title? What could they be running from? Well, we'll find out in the next few episodes. So, without further ado, let's get reading. Chapter 1. Summer Holidays. Aunt Fanny told George to settle down and do something as she kept on walking in and out of the house with Timothy. George replied that she was just so lonely without her three cousins, Anne, Julian and Dick. 3 whole weeks had passed. She just couldn't wait till tomorrow since they were coming then. The next day, George drove the pony and trap all by herself as her mother had said she was feeling sick. When the train arrived, her 3 lively cousins jumped out of the train and tumbled pell-mell out of it. They chattered about how long it had been since their last meeting. They all got into the pony trap and set off to Kiran Cottage. George had been thinking of something yesterday and she decided to share it. She asked if they'd all like to stay on Kiran Island for a week, with her mother's permission, of course. Everybody was overjoyed at the thought. When they arrived at the small house, a sour-faced woman came out. George explained that she was the new cook named Miss Stick, since Joanna had to go and take care of her mother, who broke her leg. She also said that she had a dog of her own, a small one, that Timmy could certainly eat if he got near. The 3 children went up to their bedrooms and got ready for tea with Aunt Fanny. Chapter 2. The Stick Family. It was lovely to wake up at Kiran the next day. The children decided that they would go and play in the waters before breakfast, and so they did. After some time, they all went back to the house as hungry as hunters. Anne noticed a small boy in the garden. George said that was Edgar, Miss Stick's son. At the time, he was making fun of George by singing silly songs about her. And when Julian scolded him, he ran back into the house. Suddenly, a mangy-looking dog came out of the kitchen and Timmy leapt for it. It appeared as if he was trying to rip apart the dog's ears. Julian tried to stop Timmy, but he couldn't and failed drastically. George tried to stop him too, but Uncle Quentin stopped her when he came out, hearing all the racket as George was using her bare hands. Uncle Quentin instructed Julian to get the watering hose, and Julian sprayed the water at the dogs and Edgar too, because he couldn't resist the urge to do so. Uncle Quentin scolded Miss Stick and she went back into the kitchen to finish breakfast. By the end of breakfast, Uncle asked the 4 what they would do later. George said that they'd go for a picnic as her mother had allowed them, if Miss Stick would make them sandwiches. Nobody wanted to ask her, and George commented that it would have been much easier if Stinker hadn't been brought along. George also explained to everyone that Stinker was the small dog, even though his real name is Tinker. In the end, Aunt Fanny was the one to ask Miss Stix, who agreed to make the sandwiches. The children took their packets and went off, and on the way they met Edgar, who offered that he would come along too, and suggested that they all went to the island. Obviously, they refused, and Edgar began singing silly songs about George again, which they all ignored. That's it for the first 2 chapters of 5 Run Away Together. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe and share. Bye!